Okay, good afternoon, everyone. For starters, I want to shout out and thank our operations staff with Casey Feldkamp and Hank Jacobs, our equipment staff with Al Serby, video with Scott Eilert, nutrition with Scott Troush, medical with Mindy Hoffman and her staff, strength and conditioning with Coach Ray, all of our support staff. What an undertaking that was, and they were flawless. That crew did a phenomenal job of orchestrating not a 3-day event, but a 16-month event that came apart, done in 3 days, and they don't get enough credit for what they accomplish and what they do, and all the people that are underneath those leaders. They did a phenomenal job. We are extremely disappointed in not coming away with a victory. I knew this when we scheduled the game, that K-State was going to paint Dublin purple, and we did. And that's probably what makes me hurt the most, is for our fan base and for the people that traveled there. They saw a heck of a football game. They saw a really good football game between two really good teams. And they had opportunities in the first quarter, and we were able to get them to turn it over and not capitalize. We had an opportunity in the second quarter when we turned them over. We didn't capitalize. So it's 7-7. And then in the second half, couple things. They made a few more plays than we did to get a lead. We were getting really tired and I think wore down a little bit on defense because we were down a handful of guys. No excuse, we were down a handful of guys, so we were getting a little bit tired. That's why we went for it on fourth down and didn't get it the one time. It was 4th and 1, and we ran the ball with Ave. All that being said, they score. We get a quick score. With 6 minutes and some seconds left, we're down 3, and if we get a stop, we get the ball and have a chance to win, and we couldn't get the stop. So credit those guys. Super proud of our football team, disappointed in the loss. The big thing now is, how do we respond? Not for 1 week, how do we respond for the long haul? Because this is still a marathon, not a sprint. So disappointed in the outcome, but something I think we're going to learn and grow from.
When you rewatched everything, was there a player or two that you came away pretty pumped about what they gave you?
Yeah, a lot of guys, really. I mean, to pick up, I thought our corners played really well for the first time. You know, Donnie Mack got beat on the one double move. I thought the kid made a great throw, and he was right there. But I thought Donovan McIntosh played a really good football game. I thought Wesley Fair played a really good football game, and Wesley got beat on a play. But I can't take away anything from the fact that was Wesley's first start, and he played his tail off. And then, I was proud of Avery Johnson, a guy that has played a lot of football, and in awful conditions in the first half, did a great job of taking care of the football, and then made some plays when the conditions got a little bit better without the rain. And we just didn't make enough as a team, and something we're going to learn and grow from.
On their final first down conversion that kind of sealed the game, I think Stufflebean was on the running back. Was that the intention, or was there a breakdown there?
No, it was the intention, and we brought pressure because we had to. Kid's too good. We all know that. Becht is too good if you're just going to let him sit back there. So we brought pressure, and the ends are responsible for the peel. And their kid made a play. Hanson's a good player. Rocco's a good player, and I understood why they went for it, because I think they were thinking the same thing. We don't want to give the ball back to our offense, only up 3, because we had just scored on one play against them. So, but that's football. Players make plays, and that's football.
You guys had success throwing deep against Iowa State, but you didn't do it a whole lot. Does that give you maybe some confidence moving forward that if you go back to it more in the future, it'll be there?
Yeah, I believe so. We hit the deep shot on them a couple of times. I thought Coach Wells made a great call on a 3rd and 2 when we knew they were going to be very aggressive, and Jace ran a great double move, just like their guy ran a great double move on our guy, and we threw a touchdown. And then the long play late. There for a while there, and I think you could probably see it, the first quarter we got backed up that whole quarter, and it was raining really hard. He couldn't get a great grip on it, so it was probably harder to throw vertical, at least early in that first quarter. Plus, we were backed up that whole quarter, and that ultimately cost us a touchdown. Even though our defense made the stop, we couldn't get out of there with the rain. Then we punt the ball to him, and we just lost a little bit of field position. But I'm confident that and I've seen it, that we can have a really good vertical passing game.
The recent history, the teams that have lost in Ireland haven't gone on to have much success the rest of the year. Do you use that as extra motivation to these guys to just show them how serious it is to put it behind them?
You know what? I don't look at a lot of that recent history on things because I think those are teams of the past. Depends how you handle it coming out. I've been told there's not been great seasons with teams that have won out there too, but it's a challenging game regardless. Matt and I talked about it before the game, Coach Campbell and I. The fall camp was weird. It was just challenging, and how do you respond coming out of that game regardless of the outcome? Obviously, we'd rather have the win than the loss, but I think we're going to learn a lot from this game and from the experience that they're a good football team, and I think we're a really good football team. And if we kind of harness that into the right energy, I think we can have a really good season. We have to stay healthy. I think that's the one thing that I took from this game. When you open up a season against a perennial conference championship team like Iowa State, you put all your guys out there and you play your dudes and stuff. We've got to develop more depth across both lines of scrimmage, and we've got to continue to do that because we can't expect Damian Alalio to play 60 plays every game and TP to play close to 60 or 70 plays. We've got to continue to develop depth. It's hard to do that in that type of game.
One more quick one. Do you have an early sense on whether Dylan's trending in the right direction right now?
I don't know. I know the X-ray came back negative, so that was a positive thing. But we won't know much because we won't really get any. We won't practice until Tuesday, so the treatments don't even start till this afternoon. We were going to do nothing with the kids this morning, so they don't even have treatments till this afternoon. With us not practicing till tomorrow, I think we'll probably have a better idea maybe on Wednesday, which is interesting. That's when the injury reports have to come out. Why didn't they come out this week? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we'll accept it.
Okay.
How about the rest of the health of the team?
I think that was the major one that, we had, I don't know what time we got back to the hotel, but our doc checks were at 5 a.m. And I went down there and with Mindy and Dr. Gaskell, and we didn't see that many guys, which was positive. We saw Dylan and a couple other guys that were minor. Dylan's obviously not minor, but the other guys were minor, so I feel good. But we flew 8 hours and drove another 2.5 hours. So they're going to be sore today for sure, and so they've got to do a great job taking care of their own bodies today with recovery.
Another player question. I heard his name when he committed and then again throughout training camp. And then his first game, he has a strip sack. And curious what you think about Quay Moss and kind of his story. Yeah.
Hungry kid that came into our program with just wanting an opportunity. I love the way he practices. I love the way he competes every day. There's no off day for Quay Moss. He's got a motor that is fun to watch, very similar to like a Reggie Stubblefield. Talk about a guy that brings energy to every practice, brings energy to the defense, and excited that he got thrown into the fire against really good team, against really good players, and made some nice plays. I think he's going to grow from this as well with some of the things that I think he'll do better at. But just the confidence that with how Quay plays is fun to watch.
Now, a stadium question. You're going to look out here and see your stadium. It's going to be filled for the first time this season. What goes through your mind before your first home game?
The excitement, for sure. It is strange because it's week one, but we've already played a game. We're in somewhat of a routine, even though our routine is a little different because of the travel. But the fact that we're going to hopefully have a sellout crowd to watch these guys come in and play, and great respect for North Dakota. Smitty just got the job there. Really good coach. Competed against him when I was in the Missouri Valley. He's a great coach. It was a perfect hire for UND. So we'll have our hands full.
You assess your offensive line?
I thought it was good, and in the circumstance, I thought our protection was really good. I thought we did a really good job protecting Avery. I think we can get more. We need to get more movement in the run game. We fell off some blocks, fell off some double teams, and maybe you attribute that as that's a pretty good front we played against. That they got off of blocks rather than us sustaining them. But I was pleased with, JB Nelson, Terrence Enos that got their first playing time here at K-State. I was really pleased with John Pastore. I think. John hasn't played in a couple of years. He's just going to kind of continue to get better and better. I talked to the O-line guys today. We will play Gus Hawkins. It maybe didn't fit the game with how far we were backed up early in that game of wanting to put a redshirt freshman out there. In hindsight, talking to Brian and Drew, Gus needs to play and will play for us this week.
Looking back at the game, certainly not excuse shopping, but the Dylan Edwards injury, how did that impact offensive game plan?
Obviously, it was a big impact because we had so many design plays to Dylan, getting him the ball in space. And so the next guy's got to step up and perform. I didn't expect Joe Jackson to play almost 55 plays. We were expecting him to play about 25 or 30, and Dylan maybe 35 or 40. And so we put a huge load on Joe, and I was proud of Devon Rice. I really was. I thought Devon came in and made his mark. He's done that all fall camp, but he's just been the third guy with JB, maybe the third or fourth. But I was so pleased with Devon Rice. Now somebody else has got to step up. I don't know how long Dylan's going to be out, but now somebody else has to step up because we're a little bit thin there, and that goes back to how we handle this week. We're really thin on the D-line. We're thin at tight end, and now we're thin at running back. We've got to do a great job of, getting some guys back healthy, but more importantly, practicing really smart.
This game defined kind of the nature of football, that one moment, one thing going the one way or the other, and probably the fourth down failure decided it.
Yeah. When you say that, I think of, their fumble at the 2-3 yard line when they pitched it was a big time play for us. Us not getting it on 4th and a foot when we got the ball at like the 15-yard line, I thought that was a huge play. Those plays are big. I know it gets magnified by Avery getting stopped, whatever. Nobody knows how short or not he was because you couldn't see any of the lines or couldn't see the field to know. And I knew it wasn't going to get overturned. I got it. We have to get more yards, so it's not in question. But we had to go for it there. We weren't doing a great job slowing those guys down, and I was afraid that they were going to take it 8 minutes and end the game. Instead, they scored. We get a quick score back, and it's 6 minutes left, and we can't get the ball back. I mean, that's why we had to do those things at that time. But it's never one play. But there's a handful of plays that we wish we'd maybe execute a little bit better.
Decisions on not kicking the field goal. I mean, went into that.
On that drive, I didn't have any question at all. Meaning, we were 2nd and 10, throw it to Oak, and it's 3rd and 1. We run it up in there. We think we have it. It's 4th and short. And I thought we needed to score a touchdown there. So that one I would live with all day. We were right at the range of Luis when we were at the 33-yard line, and it was 4th and 7 or 4th and 8. But the air had gotten so heavy and the footing was so poor. Watching Simon punt after his first one, Katz and I talked and said, man, we got to get this thing to the 30 or 29. And we were at the 33, and you're not going to punt from there. So it was either take a shot on a long field goal or take a shot on a 4th down conversion. And all that being said, Avery does a great job scrambling it around, and we got a chance, and we don't finish the play.
I know he was on a bit of a snap count or a whatever snap count, but Gunner came in. I felt like he did pretty well. What was your
Yeah, he had just a handful of snaps. He's going to play Gunner Maldonado football moving forward. I would say Gunner would even tell you he maybe was a little bit rusty. Maybe was he didn't take a ton of practice reps. I think that was a little bit of a factor in the fact of not playing as fast as I know Gunner will. Gunner Maldonado is a great football player. I was glad we got him some snaps because it just gave Wesley and VJ a little bit of a blow. But as he gets healthier and healthier, he's going to be a big factor for us.
Coach, can you assess some of the other guys? I noticed Holden Bass was out there, just some different players.
Yeah,
that got the opportunity.
We got into a game where we had to stay big, and so we played Damian and Uso an awful lot. Malcolm Alcorn Crowder was ruled out day of the game. Hindsight, I wish we would have played Holden a little bit more, and I think we will in the future, so that we don't have to play Damian that much. But Holden got his feet wet in a big-time game, and I was excited for him because it wasn't too big for him. And guys like that are going to be a factor. Logan Bartley's going to be a factor who played a little bit. We talked Devon Rice. Weston Polk played on special teams. Dominic Mitchell played on special teams. We played some freshmen that I don't know if we anticipated playing as many of them as we did, but I know this, after leaving that game, we're going to play a lot more of them because our roster being so small, we have to play these guys because depth really hurts you with the roster cuts down to 105, and so these freshmen have to play.
For me, the four-man front, was that what went into that decision, and was that an Iowa State decision or a season decision?
Season.
Okay.
Yeah. And at the end of last year, not knowing what we had coming back at different spots, the one position we knew we had coming back was D-line. And we felt that's where our most depth is and will be. Ryan Davis didn't play. Malcolm Alcorn Crowder didn't play. Those two guys play. We maybe knock off 15 snaps from those other guys. It will really help us. We didn't like some of the explosive plays that were happening to us in some of the 3-high stuff in the run game. And so Joe worked both of them in fall camp. We worked 3 down, we worked 4 down a little bit. Guys felt more comfortable with 4 down. We were banged up at safety with Colby, Gunner, so on. And so we just felt better about that. And I like some of the things we did. I really did. I mean, it's fun having Toby on an edge. And now you can get Ryan on an edge. It's going to be some good stuff. And I thought it helped Cheedy, being a little bit more disruptive. And it allows us to play big with Uso and Dame some. So there'll be some times we still go back to some 3-down stuff. But I think our guys really like this and feel comfortable.
I was going to ask about Toby, and I know numbers are what they are, but it looked like he was pretty disruptive most of the day.
He was really disruptive. I wish we would have gotten him a little bit more rest because in the fourth quarter he started to get a lot of big bodies on him. Iowa State's big up front, and they play the tight ends and stuff, and they do a really good job. And I thought they did a great job of designing and scheming some things in that fourth quarter that we maybe had not as much a hard time adjusting to, but had a hard time getting off blocks as the game got late. But I thought Toby did really well. And just if we can get a couple of those other guys back on the defensive front, I think we've got enough bodies there if we can stay healthy.
Do you have a feel for how much longer it could be for Colby?
Yeah, I don't believe Colby will be back before we get this first bye.
What would you say was the best thing you got to do over there in Dublin?
I would, I didn't do a whole lot, Kellis. I stayed in the hotel most of the time. I was blown away, and I say that in a positive sense, at the pep rally. That was awesome. The pep rally, and it reminded me of the Sugar Bowl and looking at that sea of people. And I don't know if we had 5,000. I don't know if we had 8,000 there. Had no idea. But the sea of purple at that pep rally was so cool. But was even better is then we took those buses around town, and the 10,000 that weren't at the pep rally were in and out of the pubs that we were able to drive by. And that was, I think, for our players, something that they'll never forget. And Gene and I have talked about this. I don't think you can do that every 3 years. I don't know if you can do it every 5 years, because it takes so much out of your football team and so much out of the support staff and all the people that do this. But that is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that we gave to a bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds and a 75-year-old.
It also would ask, how is your body clock feel? I mean, going 6 time zones back and forth isn't
not
easy.
great. Not great. But I don't ever sleep on flights at all. I know this. Nobody's going to complain about a long flight to Utah or Arizona, because those are going to seem pretty short. I'd do it all over again. Would like another outcome. Obviously, we all would like another outcome. I'm just glad we're not doing it in the next year or two. Casey Feldkamp, that'd be a lot on her. But it was such a cool experience. And I got to do what all you guys got to do with Jean and our wives in February. And I'm glad I didn't have to do that like you guys did for 4 or 5 days, or like the fan base did. That was cool for 4 or 5 days in February. I couldn't have done it again. So. But I'm so glad we went.
After the game, you mentioned we have 11 more to go, and here you are.
Yep.
What's the general vibe in this building as you kind of look forward, and maybe the anger and the emotions that go along with it?
Scott, the vibe's dead right now because there ain't anybody in the building. Right? We kept them all away. Hope President Linton's okay with that, because I don't know how many kids went to class today. But they got to get some rest. I mean, that was a long travel day yesterday, and so we're not seeing these guys around here. Tuesday, we're having our normal lift day, but it's not a 6:30 and 8 o'clock lift. It's a rolling lift. Get it in before noon on Thursday, and then we're going out and practice, or Tuesday. We're not going to go out and practice in full pads. We're going out in spiders and just going through some things and getting our bodies acclimated on Tuesday. I'll figure out the vibe on Tuesday, because the vibe is pretty dead right now because there isn't anybody around.
Coach, I had a question. I asked Gene and the commissioner about the 27 season with Farmageddon not being played. What are your thoughts on that, and the importance of once you break streak?
I know it. I haven't thought about that. It's one of those protected rivalries I think should be there. Is KU our only protected one? Okay. Welcome to the new age of college football. That's all I'll say on that is it is, I mean, last year for us not to play Tech, Baylor, TCU, fortunately for the Big 12 fans, those are back on our schedule this year, but I don't even know. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with the playoff and realignment. There could be more realignment. Nobody knows.